Trinadapi sunichena taradiva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Vakivalam. Kalo nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranyata. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are here to listen to the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, coming in the line of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We are currently studying chapter 18, which is entitled Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. And we left off on text number 36. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, entitled Conclusion, because Srila Prabhupada writes that Bhagavad Gita is actually finished in 17 chapters. This 18th chapter is a re-summarization of the Bhagavad Gita. There is also a summary of Bhagavad Gita given in chapter 2. That is also the summary according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the subject matter, the perfection of renunciation. Renunciation has to deal with the opposite of devotional service. Renunciation means to give up sense gratification. The opposite of devotional service is sense gratification. Sense gratification comes from the bodily concept of life, which is the very first thing Krishna criticizes in the Bhagavad Gita. The very first instruction of Krishna is, you're not the body. So sense gratification cannot be or should not be the goal of life, because we are not this material body. The goal of life is self-realization. But self-realization is not self-realization of the body. Self-realization means self-realization of the spirit soul, the very first subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. So renunciation means to give up the pursuit of sense gratification. But the beauty of devotional service, which is the opposite of sense gratification, the beauty is that when you do devotional service, automatically you will get sense gratification. Example, eating is one of the main items of sense gratification. When one eats basically for sense gratification, then one will eat anything on the basis of it tastes good. That is the logic many people give. Why should I not eat meat? It tastes good. Why are you not allowing me to eat meat? Because to them, the goal of life is sense gratification. But in Krishna consciousness, in Bhagavad Gita, we understand that we do not live to eat, but eat to live. And therefore, Krishna points out in chapter 3, one who eats for sense gratification eats what? Sin. But the devotees, we are learned, devotees become free from sin because they eat food which is first offered as sacrifice. When Nimai Charan does the offering at 7:30, then that offering will then become sacrifice. It becomes Krishna Prasad. Do we not enjoy Krishna Prasad? Right? Do our senses become gratified? But we become free from sin. So it's not that in Krishna consciousness the senses are denied, because that is the impersonal path. The impersonal path also accepts that sense gratification is Maya and should be rejected. But the impersonalists do not understand devotional service, and therefore they cannot appreciate Krishna Prasad, and therefore for them to practice renunciation, they have to eat very, very, very meagerly. But in devotional service, which is real renunciation, you can eat, and Prabhupada's word, sumptuously, because it's food first offered for sacrifice, and therefore we satisfy Krishna, therefore we're renounced, because we're not eating for ourselves. That's another thing. People say, why can't we offer Krishna tacos and burgers and hot dogs? Because he doesn't eat that.
But there are also, what I've seen, people are offering nowadays Mexican food in our hut.
If it's un-vegetarian diet.
But Krishna, he never ate Mexican food in India. Just joking, bro.
There is some leeway according to local customs. Because Krishna says, I will eat leaf, flower, fruit, water. But I tend to agree with you. But the real thing is, we cannot offer Krishna meat or fish or eggs because he won't accept it. Krishna accepts food in the mode of goodness, which we studied in chapter 17. We studied food in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Tonight, we are going to come to a very nice subject matter. The word itself is so nice. Happiness. Happiness in the Bhagavad Gita. Are you ready? Text number 36 of chapter 18. The 3 kinds of happiness. Please repeat. Sukam tuidaniyam tri vidham Shrinu me bharatar shaba Abhyasaj ramate yatra Dukhantang cha nigachati. Please repeat. Sukam, happiness. 2, but idanim, now, trividham, of three kinds, shrinu, hear, may, from me, Bharata Rishabha, O best among the Bharatas, Abhyasat, by practice, Ramate, one enjoys, Yatra, where, Bhuka, of distress, Antam, the end, Cha, also, Nigachati, gains. Please repeat. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. Purport. A conditioned soul tries to enjoy material happiness again and again. Thus he chews the chewed. Where does that phrase come from? Chewing the chewed. Yes, where? Very good. Comes from Prahlad. Who was he speaking to when he said that? Not to his kids. No, that's what she said. Father. He was speaking to his father. Punat punaschar vita charvananam. Because his father was a great sense enjoyer. His father thought he was the body. His father thought the goal of life is to eat, drink, and be married. It's directly stated in the Bhagavatam that why Hiranyakashipu's eyes were always coppery red. Why? Yes, he was always drinking wine. So he was enjoying sense gratification, maximum. Same with Ravana. When Hanuman entered Lanka, cat-size, and he went throughout, and then he went into Ravana's chambers, and Ravana was snoring. They just had an orgy, right? So Ravana also, the same mentality, sense enjoyment, especially in sex life. He could not restrain himself, which is why he was cursed, because of that vicious attack on Ramba. And Nalakuvara cursed him. And that was it. You do this again, you will die. So he could not take Sita or force her. She had to voluntarily accept him, which she would never do. So Ravana himself was also a great sense enjoyer. And material sense enjoyment, chewing the chewed. Just like sugarcane juice, if you extract the juice from the sugarcane and then here, take. There's nothing there.
You look for sweetness
and then chewing gum, they chew. But after a while, there's no more sugar in it. They put artificial sugar in it. So chewing the chewed, that's material sense gratification. One of the first lectures I heard Prabhupada, one of the first ones that I directly heard, Prabhupada was saying on this topic, chewing the chewed. Whether you drink milk in an iron pot or a gold cup, the taste of the milk, the same. So Prabhupada was saying, you've already had sex as a pigeon, monkey, human being, demigod, it's all the same. It's not any different. It's the same rasa, the same taste. So we're chewing the chewed. How are we experiencing it? Through different types of bodies. That's chewing the chewed. As a human being, as a demigod, as an animal, aquatic, it's all sense gratification. Let us continue with the purport. But sometimes in the course of such enjoyment, he becomes relieved from material entanglement by association with a great soul. And I can know that because of my association with Prabhupada. That's the only way I am relieved from material entanglement. In other words, a conditioned soul is always engaged in some type of sense gratification. But when he understands by good association that is only a repetition of the same thing, and he is awakened to his real Krishna consciousness, he is sometimes relieved from such repetitive so-called happiness. So Prabhupada is saying, real happiness is Krishna consciousness. Let's go to the next verse. Yattad agre visham iva pariname mritopamam tat sukam satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam yat, which, tat, that, agre, in the beginning, visham iva, like poison, pariname, at the end, amrita, nectar, upamam, compared to, tat, that, sukam, happiness, satvikam, in the mode of goodness, proktam, is said, atma, in the self, buddhi, of intelligence, prasadajam, born of the satisfaction. If you would repeat, that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So this, for people first coming to Krishna consciousness, this is a very important verse to accept. Because in the beginning, because a person who is just first coming to Krishna consciousness, that means they have spent so many years in this lifetime enjoying the senses. And usually it has been sinful sense enjoyment. So they have many bad habits and many bad inclinations and addictions. They have addictions, with all kinds of material addictions. So when they come to Krishna consciousness, they have to give up those things. And that is difficult. It's hard. If you've been accustomed to enjoying your senses and now, no more, it's not so easy. Not so easy. Especially Westerners. Because from birth they have been spoiled in sense gratification, gross sense gratification. When they come to Krishna consciousness, you cannot enjoy meat. You cannot have now illicit sex. You cannot enjoy intoxication. So it's difficult. I know. I went through it. Okay, and depends on how conditioned you were before coming to Krishna consciousness, it can be a real struggle. If somebody is coming from a more pious background, it's a little easier for that person. But if you have lived a very sinful life, now you stopping everything, it's hard. It's very, very hard. So, it may be just like poison. For some people, when they come to Krishna consciousness and they're told now on Janmashtami, fast till midnight. Or Ekadasi. It's difficult. It's difficult. Or It's not just the Westerners, Indians too. No more onions, no more garlic. What? What are you saying? And no more tea. No more tea. I used to get this all the time. Prabhuji, I can never become a devotee. Because when I try to give up tea, I get a headache. No, this is a real thing that they tell me. Prabhuji, I can't do Krishna consciousness. But by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you can get over these. I know for a fact. One of my students, she said, I can never become a devotee because I cannot give up onions and garlic, I cannot give up tea. Therefore, I can never get initiated. And now she's your god sister. No. Chile. Sri Nam Radha. She went to Mayapur. She got some mercy. She got some mercy from your Guru Maharaj. And I remember the day I was doing a program. Prabhuji, I want to announce I have given up onions and garlic. Everybody went. Then the hard one was the tea. Because she said I used to get a headache, very grave. Give it up. Mercy of Lord going to Mayapur, and mercy of your Guru Maharaj. Blessings. Now she is staunch follower.
When I gave up my tea, then I had problems for 3 days.
Yeah.
After 3 days,
Gone.
yeah.
Yes, this is common. Yeah, because all that toxin, that poison has to come out in the system. Like me, when I moved into the temple, after some time I got a boil. You know what a boil is?
Yes.
So that was all that meat and intoxication and all that impurity was now coming out. And I never knew what a boil was. And the devotees told, oh, you got a boil. He said, everybody gets it. Because for 23, 24 years, you have simply sinned. And it's all, karma is real. Karma is real. It shows in the face, it's inside. And that stuff has, that prasadam and devotional service purifies you. And so in the beginning it's hard, but then becomes nectar. And the exact word, amrita, nectar. Let's look at the purport. In the pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and the senses and to concentrate the mind on the self. All these procedures are very difficult, bitter like poison. But if one is successful in following the regulations and comes to the transcendental position, he begins to drink real nectar and he enjoys life. Okay? Everybody chant Hare Krishna, please. Continue. We're on text number 38 of chapter 18. If you would kindly respond. Vishayendriya Sangyogad Yatad Agre Mritopamam Pariname Visham Iva Tatsukam Rajasang Smritam Vishaya of the objects of the senses, Indriya and the senses. So let's stop here. Kamlesh wrote me a week or two ago that verse in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, that we are struggling with the 6 senses which include the mind. So he wanted to know what are the other 5 senses: ears, eyes, nose, tongue, and skin. Because those are the knowledge acquiring senses, jnana indriyas, according to Shastra. So each of those has a vishaya, an object by which it is seeking. So what are the eyes looking for? Some color, some form, some shape. The eyes are hankering for that. There's nothing you can do about it. It's hardwired into the system. The eyes want to see something nice. So, how do we purify the sense of sight? Yes, the deity, which is why in ISKCON, Prabhupada insisted that deities have to be decorated gorgeously, because we're not trained just to look at the deity and to be able to concentrate for a long period of time. So Prabhupada insisted in his temples there has to be grand decoration, lots of flowers, just to attract the mad mind away from Bollywood. Because how do they make those movies? Lots of colors, lots of movement, lots of action. Why? Because they know. The demons know this also. They know this. People want something for their eyes. And then what do the ears want? Yeah, pure devotee like you, but I'm talking about the conditioned soul. Nice sound vibration. But that also depends on the mode of nature you're in. Because those in the mode of ignorance, what kind of music they like? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. You can tell by the sound music where their consciousness is at, right? The different kinds of music tells you the you can tell me, oh, that guy likes that music, I know where he's coming from. Okay? The tongue looking for tasty things. It's hardwired. It wants to taste. And the hands wants to touch nice things. So very nice to touch. So all of the senses, the jnana indriyas, have a particular object that they're hankering for. Let's continue in those synonyms. Samyogat, from the combination. Yat, which. Tat, that. Agre, in the beginning. Amrita upamam, just like nectar. Pariname, at the end. Visham, iva, like poison. Tat, that. Sukham, happiness. Rajasam, in the mode of passion. Smritam, is considered. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. So, this is what's going on every day here in this material world. People are pursuing the objects of the senses. They enjoy them, and then what happens? They become frustrated. What's today? Saturday. So it started last night. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What are they doing? Drinking or barbecue, right? And they're just eating for sense gratification. Then too much. Oh. When they drink too much, then what's next morning? Ah, my head is pounding. Yeah, of course. It's right here in Bhagavad Gita. It was nectar in the beginning, right? Now it's turned to poison. Or they try to have illicit sex, and then the next day they wake up with some disease. It was very enjoyable that night. Then the next morning you have to go to you have disease. You enjoy any one of the senses illicitly, you're going to suffer. It's nectar at first, it's real good, but then it's going to turn to poison. Prabhupada's purport is so perfect. Look at this. A young man and a young woman meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and to have sexual intercourse. There you go. There's America right there. Especially where you two boys are going to school, college, even high school now. This is going on. I'm sure you know many such fools. Yes? Yeah. In the beginning, this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, or after some time, it becomes just like poison. They are separated, or there is divorce, there is lamentation, there is sorrow. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, this was me. I have so much experience of this, personally, before becoming a devotee. That's why I became a devotee, because I went through this over and over and over again. I became completely disgusted. Luckily, I found Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, I'd still be on this treadmill. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. Happiness derived from a combination of the senses and the sense object is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all means. Yes, Ravana was told so many times by so many people, even his own family members, his own brothers told him, give up this attachment for Sita. But could he listen? No. He couldn't listen. He was too attached to the object of the sense. Unfortunately, he should have been attached to Ram. If he had been attached to Ram, it would have saved him. But if he was attached to trying to exploit and enjoy Sita, you cannot. She belongs to Ram, nobody else, not to Ravana. How can the goddess of fortune be enjoyed by anyone but Narayan? Is that possible? It's not possible. That's why Ram had to kill him. Because Sita is Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. She cannot be touched by anyone but Narayan. So he had to kill Ravan. There was no other alternative. He was trying to do the most sinful thing. Let's do one more verse. Yaddagre chanubandhe cha sukam mohanam atmanaha nidralasya pramadotam tattamasam udaritam. Yat, that which, agre, in the beginning, cha, also, anubandhe, at the end, cha, also, sukam, happiness, mohanam, illusory, atmanaha, of the self, nidra, sleep, alasya, laziness, pramada, and illusion, utham, produced of, tat, that, tamasam, in the mode of ignorance, udaritam, is said to be. And that happiness, which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion, from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. Let's see what Prabhupada writes in the purport. One who takes pleasure in laziness and in sleep is certainly in the mode of darkness, ignorance. And one who has no idea how to act and how not to act is also in the mode of ignorance. For the person in the mode of ignorance, everything is illusion. There is no happiness, either in the beginning or at the end. For the person in the mode of passion, there might be some kind of ephemeral happiness. You all know what that word ephemeral means?
Like on and off.
Ephemeral means cheap, superficial, ephemeral happiness. Not anything substantive, very meager. In the beginning and at the end, distress. But for the person in the mode of ignorance, there is only distress, both in the beginning and at the end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before we go any further, I just want to tell one little episode from Mahabharata. Can I do that before we go further? So, the Pandavas spent their final year in the kingdom of, the final year of their exile. Virat. Very good. And that was the year they had to live incognito. So after that 13th year, they were now entitled to the kingdom. Because when they were banished, then it was told that after these 13 years, then we'll give you half, your share of the kingdom. So they expected, okay, the 13 years is over, and we should now get our rightful share. But everybody knew that Duryodhan wasn't about to do that. Duryodhan wanted war. There was no question of giving back the share to the Pandavas. He still wanted them dead. So in Virat, Krishna came to visit Yudhishthira. Drupada came. And Drupada said, we should send someone to Hastinapur and deliver a message to Dhritarashtra saying, now it's time for you to give the Pandavas their share of the kingdom. So Drupada said, we will send this Brahmin as our emissary. So there was an elderly Brahmin, so he went to the court in front of Bhishma and Drona and Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan. Everybody's there in the court. And the Brahmin says, it is now the Pandavas have executed the 13 years of exile. Everybody knows what you have done to them. You tried to disrobe Draupadi. You tried to kill the Pandavas. You cheated them in the gambling. Everybody knew it. It wasn't a secret. And you've cheated them out of the kingdom. So now it's time for you to give the Pandavas their share. And Bhishma stood up and said, yes, we should do what this Brahmin says. But Karna stood up and said, no way, we're not going to do this. So Karna gave some objections. So after this went back, then everybody's waiting for Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra says, I got to think about this. I'll think about it, and then I'll send my servant Sanjaya to the Pandavas with my decision. So Dhritarashtra says to Sanjaya that somehow or other go there and make some kind of peace, somehow or other. Dhritarashtra did not say that he was going to give the Pandavas their share. And the reason why was because of, yes, because of Duryodhan. In other words, Dhritarashtra actually wanted to do it, but because of Duryodhan, he knew he couldn't. So that is Dhritarashtra's weakness. He wanted to do it. He agreed with Bhishma that we should do it. It's the right thing to do. But because of that Duryodhana and his attachment for Duryodhana, he knew he's not going to do what I say. So when Sanjaya went to the kingdom of Virat and spoke to the Pandavas, he spoke in such a way. It's very interesting what Sanjaya said. Sanjaya said to Yudhishthira, you guys are the Pandavas. You should be above this whole wanting a kingdom. You should, of anybody, you should be detached. So why are you threatening war? You're the Pandavas. You're supposed to be above. Show the proper example. So then Yudhishthira spoke in reply. And here's the real thing. Yudhishthira said, yes, what you say is true, but we are Kshatriyas. And our religious duty as Kshatriyas is to rule. Not fight. Fight, yes, only when necessary. But we should have some place to rule. Number two, it is our lawful inheritance which you took away from us. Because they had that Indraprastha, right? And it was cheated away from them. So Yudhishthira said, look, we're willing to forgive what you did to Draupadi. We're willing to forgive everything that you've done to us, namely trying to kill us. We're going to forgive that you cheated us. And then Yudhishthira said, just give us 5 villages. That's all. And we'll be happy. And then Sanjaya also said, and then Krishna spoke. And Krishna said that actually, because Sanjaya again was trying to say, no, you're going to cause this war and everything's going to be lost. And even if you fight the war, you're not going to be able to enjoy afterwards because everybody's going to be dead. So Sanjaya was saying, what's the point? Just like Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, one of his arguments, everybody that we wish to enjoy with is going to be slain. It's spoils tainted with blood. That phrase is used. That was one of Arjuna's early arguments. What's the point? That it's going to be at the cost of so many lives. So Sanjaya was also saying that, why are you guys insisting on getting your kingdom because you're going to be a war? You guys are going to win. Sanjaya knew. So did Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra knew if there's a war. Dhritarashtra even told Sanjaya, Arjuna alone can win the whole war. Dhritarashtra knew that. He knew that there was no way they were going to come out victorious. He said, and when I think of Arjuna, my God, he alone can defeat the whole army. And they're going to have Krishna on their side? Hello? What is... They knew that Krishna's history was known. So Dhritarashtra even said, Krishna... Now Dhritarashtra wasn't sure that Krishna was God, but he knew, hey, wait a second, Krishna killed Kamsa, he killed Narakasura, he killed they all knew the stories in Krishna book, all the demons that Krishna killed, they knew this. So they knew Krishna's he's pretty invincible. So with Krishna on the side of Arjuna and the Pandavas, we don't got a chance. Dhritarashtra knew this. So that's why he's sending Sanjaya that try to make peace, because he knows we're finished, we're done. So Krishna says, after Sanjaya's trying to argue, Krishna says, well, actually, Kshatriya, and you mentioned this, one of the Kshatriya duties is to fight. And that's, Krishna gave the argument that is inherent from the Creator, Lord Brahma. The Kshatriyas are allowed to display their might when it comes to right and wrong. So Krishna also said, I fully approve of Yudhishthira wanting his share of the kingdom. This is actually proper from him, that he should do this. So after Krishna spoke, Sanjaya said, yeah, you're right. Because after all, who's Sanjaya's guru? Vyasadeva. So Sanjaya has to be a devotee. So Krishna was fully in agreement when Yudhishthira said, yes, this is our God-given duty. We are Kshatriyas, we are meant to rule, and this is our inheritance. So, and it's very beautiful. He said, we're willing to forgive everything, right? And Krishna also said, when he was speaking, he said, that disrobing of Draupadi, that was it. That's what this whole thing is about. And Krishna even criticized Sanjaya, saying, and even you didn't say anything at that time. What about Bhishma? Did Bhishma say anything? No. Nope. Only 2 people spoke. Who was that? I think it's Vikarna. One of the Kurus. Right. Who was the other one? No, Vidura. Krishna said, Vidura spoke up, and then I didn't know for sure who was it. You say it's Vikarna? 2 people spoke out that saying this is wrong. But Drona didn't speak out, Bhishma didn't speak out, Dhritarashtra. Nobody spoke out. Krishna said, this is the reason. That was big. All right, everybody chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.